Radiance and spontaneity are two of watercolour's most attractive qualities, but they're so often lost through overworking. How often does your palette look more radiant than your painting? But vibrancy isn't difficult to achieve if you use the tools of the trade. The brushes, the paper, the paint. These are the first steps to creating vibrant watercolours. Let's start with brush strokes. Take this comfrey here. Beautiful ultramarine blue. The brush can create the actual shape of the flowers so simply. Let it do the work. Use a big enough brush that it can create the actual shape of the flower as well as the individual petals. You can even run a bit of this lovely pink into it while it's wet. The brush itself is made to paint the watercolour. Don't be afraid to use it. Look at that. Oh, aren't they beautiful? A little touch of ochre in with the blue, and we have the leaves. Let the brush do the work. For a brushstroke to be really effective, it needs to be well loaded. And sable brushes can carry a lot of paint. All these brushstrokes have definite edges, but sometimes in watercolour you want soft edges. Even then, you've still got to let the brush do the work. I'm going to use this line of trees here to show you what I mean. First of all, we need clean water, and you can't make vibrant watercolours with dirty water. So remember, carry lots of water around. A background sky wash. Again, remember to load your brush. Add a little water as you're lightening it down. Bring it down to the horizon level. And then the field colour I'm bringing straight in underneath with a bit of aureolin in with the ultramarine. And then while the paint's still wet, touching in these trees with the brush so that the paint floods into the background wash. For the soft trees, I'll do it while the paint's very wet, but I'm just touching it in, I'm letting the brush do the work. Making lively brushstrokes is all very well, but if you cover them up afterwards, there's not much point. Let's go into the studio and make them more descriptive. This is my son Sean, when he was about 5. He's lit from the left, creating strong shadows. I'm going to show you just how simply you can build up the image with just 2 colours. I'm going to wash French ultramarine around all the areas of darkness. Remember, the brushstroke is what counts. You go in fairly fast as your confidence allows, but we're using the blue, which is effectively the dark underlay, to shape the child and come across any areas where the shadow happens. So his face is all in shadow. It doesn't have to be quite as dark as the background. He's lit down the side there, and then the hair just catching shadows in the side there. But we're using this blue to very early on create the form. By using a colour that can be a general shadow colour underneath, you can, right at the beginning, be confident with your brushstrokes because you're not worrying about detail, you're just getting the shapes in. It's keeping it fresh from the start. You can take your brush back and forth, lift off the paint. I just want a bit of dark there. Remember, this is shadow colour. It isn't the actual colour of the flesh, it's the shadow colour. And it carries on into the shadow itself. Under the little shorts there, nice little ragged edge. And just down to the foot, bit of shadow under the foot itself. And then on this side of the arm, and again, if you see the shadow's a little bit lighter on that side, So just come down and then also it's quite light, the shadow's quite light here, inside, under the arm there, but again using it for the shadows. And you can even come down here. It doesn't have to be so strong, because look, actually in the photograph you can see he's actually standing against lightness, but we want to pick out the shape from the background. And now I'm just going to bring in some burnt sienna for the warmth of the top of the hair, where the face is, hidden under that lovely mop of blonde hair. Round under the neck. Remember, we're trying to make every brush stroke count, and this is effectively one brush stroke. Although we're lifting and dropping the brush is loaded once, and it's this paint that we're using. That's the beauty of these sable brushes. This is a size 7, and it holds a lot of paint. You can get a lot done with one loading from the palette. Now let's have a look down here, come behind there. Flesh again on here. Burnt sienna is a wonderful colour for doing flesh, a lovely warm colour. Short's got this nice sort of denim-y blue. They can do with being browned down a bit with the burnt sienna. And again, we're just using the same loaded brush. Come right down here. See how quickly it's building up. We can even leave a little bit of white light down the side, on top of the knee there. You don't have to go butt up right up to the blue, because leaving the white paper, as you'll see in the next section, is so important to the life of the painting. And again, the brush is doing the work. Little dry strokes for the hair, and just bring that out from the background. The hairs are so fine, even within this size 7 brush, you can still use the individual hairs to make the hair on the child.